My husband at that point decided our marriage was not very much fun, and he literally walked away one day after I came home from running errands. And I was not prepared to take on the mortgage completely by myself. I was working a full-time job, but that wasn't enough. And so I got a second job. That still wasn't enough. I got a third job. That still isn't enough. I know that I am made for, and my kids, I had 3 little kids at that point. We are made for so much more than stress and struggle and barely getting by, living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, literally, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
The next wave of business leaders won't just use AI, they'll master momentum with it, starting now. Welcome to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where visionary founders and driven business leaders turn artificial intelligence, automation, and scalable systems into real growth, real scale, and real freedom. If you're ready to break bottlenecks, reclaim your title, and scale smarter, this is your playbook. Let's dive in. Here are your hosts, Allie Porter and Elise Smith.
Welcome to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where we unpack the systems, stories, and strategies of founders building scalable backends. Today's guest is Kari Olson, founder of Brave Abundance, and you guys are going to love the stories that you hear from Kari here today and what she's doing in her incredible business. So we are diving into how smart operations, often powered by automation or AI, unlock serious scale. So, Allie, you want to take it?
I would love to. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so Carrie, we're going to talk a little bit about your backstory and kind of your breakthrough. So let's start there. So take us back, and how did your business come to be? How did it start?
Oh gosh, I don't even know sometimes how far back to go, because I just feel like it was actually in 2011 when God kind of placed this on my heart for more financial stability. And I was going through a lot of craziness at that time. I had just been diagnosed with cancer. My husband at that point decided our marriage was not very much fun, and he literally walked away one day after I came home from running errands. And I was not prepared to take on the mortgage completely by myself. I was working a full-time job, but that wasn't enough. And so I got a second job. That still wasn't enough. I got a third job. That still isn't enough. So I was like, wow, I know that I am made for, and my kids, I had 3 little kids at that point. We are made for so much more than stress and struggle and barely getting by, living paycheck to paycheck, depending on, other friends who were giving me their kids hand-me-downs. Like, I was just like, no, this is not the abundant life that I know Jesus paid for. He talks about it in John 10:10. So I was just like, there has got to be something out there that works. And that really set me on the path of looking for something that I could step into, most likely online. And gosh, I tried a lot of different things, and a lot of different things did not work. However, he gave me a heart to persevere, and I'm so grateful because, gosh, it was such a beautiful journey of learning, of growing, and I have finally found it.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And to have to go through all of that, like, wow. I don't even think I knew that. I like that is, if that doesn't move you, I don't know what will. If that doesn't inspire you to follow your dreams, because like you could have looked at all of those things that happened and just been like, well, my life sucks, and you could have gone in totally opposite direction and been like, I can't do this. But instead you were like, no, I can do this. I am made for more. And I loved also how you did try it the other way. You did say, okay, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get a second. I'm going to get a third. And then you were like, what am I doing?
Sure.
So I just love that. And the fact also that you were willing to do it for your kids, for your family, like that's just amazing. So,
Yeah.
so obviously, I mean, there was chaos and stuff. So what was that like, the early chaos, and what forced you to first system level upgrade? So, and again, we're not just talking about AI, but just any kind of systems and stuff like that. What kind of was that turning point for you where you're like, ooh, I need to get organized in my business. I can't just kind of like haphazardly do it,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I totally feel like my only strategy at first was the whole throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks. And
Mhm.
obviously, that's so frustrating and painful. And yeah, makes you want to give up for a long time.
Yeah.
And so there was a point actually in 2015. I had been trying, so by then, 4 years, whether it was network marketing or affiliate marketing. I tried Etsy, like drop shipping, Christian t-shirts, like there was so much that I tried. And it was I was also obviously going through a lot emotionally, physically, trying to help my kids deal with the pain of everything that we were all going through. But there was one day that changed everything. And so this is what really, it's kind of a longer story, but
We got time.
okay, okay, good. Because by then, our house had actually fallen into foreclosure. Um, and it was a horrible, awful, shameful time. I just felt like, all the neighbors were looking at me, judging me, because the sheriff would actually have to come to your door, physically hand you the papers and be like, ma'am, this is the day and the time that your house is going up for auction at the county courthouse. And it was awful. And yet, for 3 years, God had made a way, 7 sheriff sales that they just very mysteriously fell through. So this was, at dealing with lawyers and mortgage people and bankers. And I'm just like, boy, that is a coincidence. Every time, like I was still growing in my faith. And so, but by the 8th time, so it was July of 2015. And this was the day I walked out my back door at 7 a.m. in my pajamas to let the dog out. There he was again. The sheriff was literally sitting on my picnic table. He let himself inside my fenced in backyard. And he again handed me the papers. And I'm like, oh, I was just like, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I had been protecting my kids up until that time, like not really wanting to tell them anything, not involving them in what was going on with the house. Like they were just too young to understand any of it. But for dinner that night, we had our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I sat them down and I'm like, guys, we are going to be moving. I need to really save for rent. And that means I need to cut out like your beloved activities. So, dance and gymnastics and basketball. And they just sat there and they didn't say a word, but you could see in their eyes, they were like, what is going on? And I could just feel the fear. And ran to the bathroom, bawling my eyes out. And at one point, my youngest daughter, Amelie, she came, she knocked on the door and I opened it up and she's like, Mom, we're going to be okay. I have lots of things for us to sell for money. And she had packed her little suitcase. She just unzipped it and she showed me everything that she was wanting to sell to save our family. And that was the day I'm like, okay, I am getting serious. I am turning things around. This is not how my story ends. And I just made that decision on that day and that time. I'm like, I'm not giving up until I find something. But yeah, when you asked about systems, like as a single mom who is working like 60, 70, 80 hours a week, I knew I had to work smarter and not harder. So that's where I was looking for ways to leverage my time. Passive income. I'm like, what does that mean? I had heard of it and I didn't understand it. I didn't really believe in it and very, very skeptical, but I just kept searching. And so, yeah, I was able to eventually quit my job as an occupational therapist in healthcare. Praise the Lord. That was a good day, but it was because I had built systems, while I was working full time because, yeah, I was adding my coaching. And so, I was not able to do one-to-one coaching, but I was able to do group coaching. So I just learned time management really well. And then I had to learn how to, let my systems and videos, courses, whatever I was making work for me, so it wasn't trading time for dollars.
Exactly.
And yeah, I just kept taking that next right step. I just know, you know, I just really tried to play into or learn and adhere to a lot of the biblical principles about multiplication and just like not being slave, you know, to my business, to the lender, to anything. I'm like, I know that there is so much more than, you know, just trading time for dollars. And I just never gave up on that vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so powerful. And I love how your daughter was willing to help in any way she can. My son did the same thing this morning. He wanted to give, some donations to the church camp that he was at. And it was just so sweet. It was so sweet. He's like, he had 58 cents and 3 packets of oatmeal. And he's like, Mom, I just want to, give it. And, especially when you're in that situation where it's so hard. Like you're having to have it all on yourself and you're trying to build your business on top of that and take care of your kids and take care of yourself and all the things. But to have a child come to you and be like, this is what I'm going to do, Mom, um, you said that was kind of the pivotal moment. You're like, that's
Mhm.
it. I'm going to change it. And I would say, that was probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was probably like the defining moment for you when you started to really build that momentum. Is
Yeah.
that probably correct? Okay.
100%. Yep.
Oh,
Because yeah, that night I was on my knees. I was just like, I like to have my plans, my business, everything very controlled. This is my expectations. This is how it's going to go. And oh my goodness, I really had to surrender to not work in my own strength and just really be like, Lord, I know there's better ways out there. Please
yeah.
show me.
Mm. Beautiful. And I want you guys to realize we're going to move into kind of the systems that really scaled you, and Elise will take that over. But before I turn that over to her, I want you guys listening to really realize that it doesn't there you have to make that choice of like, I'm going to move forward, I am going to make this work before other things happen. And so
Yeah.
even though you did find systems, and even the place where you house your courses, and how you run your coaching and all of that, and even other income streams and stuff, you had to make that choice to go against what everybody else around you was saying and be like, no, I'm gonna do this. And that is like 80 to 90% of it is deciding
I
I'm going
agree.
to do this. And then everything else helps to support that and scale it. Right. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being open and vulnerable about that, because I think a lot of people also think that entrepreneurship is just a bunch of, yay, we get to do this. It's so fun. I get to work on my own schedule and I get to, make a ton of money and all the things. No, you get there eventually, but like in the beginning, it's just so hard. So thank you so much for
Mhm.
sharing that. Was there anything else you wanted to say about your story before I turn it over to Elise?
Yeah, I think what you mentioned there kind of hit the nail on the head because yeah, there was 8 years I lost money in everything I tried and I just it was heartbreaking. And I also really knew, or that's when I started learning that, like, yeah, the stuff that I was saying, the mindset part of it, like, I literally every day, oh, you're such a failure. Nothing you do works. Like, like I knew I had to start taking those thoughts captive, rewiring my mind. I do believe, and I know that belief precedes results. So yeah, it was a long
Amen.
process, but I had to make that decision and take those thoughts captive, and it didn't happen overnight, obviously, but it does happen when you
Yeah.
put in the effort, and it's so worth it.
Yeah. I mean, 8 years, like that's
Yes.
been me too, except mine's been a little bit longer than that. But now, but regardless of how long it is, just trusting that it's all going to work out. And then
Yes.
when you do that, then all the next stuff that we're going to be talking about, all the way in which you scale,
Yeah.
the money that comes in, the freedom that comes in, all of that happens because you made that one decision. So I love that. I love that, Carrie. All right. I'm going to turn it over to Elise for the system side of it and getting into the nitty gritty, because that's also super important, because you can have the conviction, you can have the decision, but then you have to be able to like build on that, and logistically be able to figure it out. So take it away, Elise.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I love that you shared that story of perseverance, because we've all had those moments where you have to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, right? And just choose to keep going. And then isn't it cool how when you choose to keep going, there's these coincidences that happen and you're able to like find systems and, things that you didn't even know existed or that are going to make your life a lot easier. Because if you stay in that bootstrap mentality and you don't actually start systemizing things, then it can bring you down and you can get right back to that space, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's kind of go into like your back end story. So when you first got started with business, what did that look like for you? Or like, were you pasting things together? Were you like experimenting with different systems? Like, what did the beginning of your back end story look like?
Yeah, it was a ginormous mess. I was trying to duct tape this system to that, and there were no connections. And, I am just a person who really, I don't want to say I'm gullible. Maybe I am, but I believe people. Like I'm a sucker for good marketing because if you tell me this is the best thing, I'm like, awesome, let's do that. But like, oh my goodness, the stuff that I was doing, I cannot tell you. I probably tried at least 10 different, email softwares and then different course platforms and then, trying to get them to all work. And then, oh, I guess it doesn't work. So I'll just do this manually. And then you forget or things fall through the cracks. And it was it was a nightmare at first. So it was not the whole working smarter and not harder. I was like really making things difficult on myself as I was learning. And you know what? That's okay too. Like there's a learning curve and we just have to give ourselves grace. But man, if I had just known the systems and now like the automations that I have in place, like to just work so much smoother. Oh, I probably would have made money a lot sooner because I wouldn't have been doing things so manually and such in a time consuming, inefficient way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's kind of funny when we say that because I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm a systems geek. Like I love trying out new systems and I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes I spend more time setting up new systems than I do, like on the IPAs that I'm supposed to be working on or something like that,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
But if we were to really go from like A to Z, right? Like you have your A where you're like pasting everything together and then Z to like your perfect system where everything's working great. What
Mhm.
kind of lessons would you have missed out on in the in between?
Yeah. Because yeah, that's so true and so good. And at first and I would still say I'm not a techie person. Like all of that really, really scared me. And so I paid a lot of money to have people just set it up for me, but I still didn't understand how to work it. I mean, there was one system I'm like, I had no clue how to send out an email. And that's the whole point of having an email list, you know?
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a learning curve, but now that I actually know and use it and understand it, I get excited. It is about communication with, the people that God's calling you to. And so I had to really reframe it from, oh gosh, I'm techie and I'm scared and I am, gonna mess this up to be like, let's figure this out. Take some time to understand it and how it works and knowing it is gonna save your time and sanity in the long run.
Yeah, and it's okay to be in the messy middle. Like
Yeah.
Allie and I talk about that all the time. Like we want to, get to the other side where it's all hunky dory, and actually, it's never grass is never as green as you think it is on the other side, right? But
Mhm.
there is beautiful grass patches along the way, if I want to go with that analogy. But it's okay for us to be in the
Yes.
messy middle sometimes. But man, when we like find those automations and those systems because that's what it's really about. Like what you
Mhm.
said, it's about serving people at a higher level. It's not about the tech, it's not about the system itself. But when we do find those things, like things can really expand and take off and scale like no other. So, what has been the biggest difference for you when you're talking about scaling and the systems that you've put in place?
Probably for me, like having an all-in-one system that has, the emails, the calendars, the texts, that go out, the automations, the workflows, like all those words, the funnels, even like those words scared me. I don't know about any of them. And so I just kind of like, nope, nope, not for me. But gosh, once you figure all of that out, like what you said, it is about serving people higher. Because when I was not emailing them, when I was not in communication, when I wasn't giving them the things that they would have said yes to, like I'm dropping the ball. And so, yeah, when you kind of get out of your own way and take the pressure off, like the tech and myself, and I don't know how to do this, and just say, what does this person need? How can I provide it to them? Like, I just feel like that was the thing that kept me moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I love the heart that you have around it too, because it is about that service. And I mean, I've known you for a little while, Carrie, and that's one thing that's always stood out. And I know Allie has too, is like we just know that spirit that you bring to whatever you're doing is the heart. Like that's your heart. And so it's so cool to be able to hear that systems can help you to, take that even further.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's exactly what AI automation and tools can do as well, which, is kind of where we step in. So tell us about like your AI automation journey. Like, were you intimidated at first by it? Like, were you worried about it? Tell us all the things.
Absolutely, I was worried. Like, again, I think we just hear those words, and I'm like, oh, coding. And, I didn't know what it all involved. And so sometimes when you're just like, nope, not for me, you don't even take the opportunity to educate yourself. And my goodness, maybe it was that way like 5 years ago, but like AI is so personable. I mean, literally, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And it's going to take, a little bit of time. I think maybe Chat GPT was the first thing that I was like, what is this? This could be helpful. But again, you're wrestling with like, is this good? Is this not good? Is it moral? Is it ethical? And then obviously you can use it for good. It's a tool. Kind of, just like money, it's neutral. You can use it for good and you can also use it for not so good. But like once I got over that, I'm like, this is pretty amazing. And how much it just streamlined things, how much it just helped me brainstorm formulas, you know, um, as far as like creating content and just connections and emails. And yes, I would never just be like, ChatGPT, please create an email and copy and paste. Like, but I know I'm a better editor than I am a writer. And I love when it gives me something to work with initially to, just, hey, this is a thought I had. Can you help me? It's literally like a virtual assistant almost, talking, because I am a solopreneur. Like I work by myself, but sometimes, it is true that two heads are better than one. So it's like, I have this idea. This is kind of the general direction I'm wanting to go with this email or this post or whatever. And just kind of the back and forth that we can do to really get it to a place where it still feels super, super authentic and in alignment. And I've loved how it's really streamlined, but also cut down on the amount of time and manual energy it's taken me, not only in just posting content, but, I just started YouTube and, doing from my long form videos, I now have an AI system who just, it chops it up into short form videos, and then it sends it everywhere I need it to go. So Facebook and TikTok and YouTube shorts. And I'm like, that would have taken me hours to do. So they're not perfect. Yesterday, I just laughed really hard at one of the shorts that it created, and like, okay, it made me laugh, so I kept it. But no, it's really been a beautiful and very, very helpful thing in my business.
That is so powerful. And especially that you were able to get over that fear and that concern and then be able to benefit from it so much on the back end.
Yeah.
And that's how it is with business in general. I mean, there are things that scare the crap out of me about business and about this business journey, but you kind of have to just lean into it and try it, because
Mhm.
how else are you going to know? And I love that that's what you did with AI and it worked out really awesome for you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. Well, let's get into kind of what's next. So, Allie, do you want to take it on?
I would love to. So, Carrie, I know we didn't go into lots of depth on your business. So before I ask you that question, if people want to know kind of what you do and how you help people, what does that look like? Like, what are your services?
Yeah. So, um, at the moment, I only basically have one offering. I have done a lot of coaching in the past, but as of last fall, God asked me to lay all that down. So right now, I am only doing a program with master resale rights, one that I didn't have to create. But I love it because I just get to share something that has truly changed my life. And I don't have to do the fulfillment and the training and the coaching. So that's another thing that has brought so much rest, so much time freedom into my life, working 10 hours a week. And it's still been the most money I have ever made. So,
Oh,
yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
yeah, you're killing it, girl. Like
I
you're
know.
amazing. I'm seeing all your posts and everybody that you're helping and yeah, you're just awesome.
It's
Thank
amazing. I
you.
love
Mhm.
that. Yeah. So if you want to know what she's doing, check her out.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that at the end. But I just wanted people to know kind of your offering. So, so my question to you is, what are you building towards in the next 6 to 12 months? Whether that's income level or other products or services or whatever. What does your vision for the next 6 to 12 months look like?
Yeah. So my goal is actually to help 1,111 families start their own online, digital program or digital business and just supporting them in being really successful. So, for a person that's like, "Oh, I would love to have an extra stream of income, maybe they're very scared also of tech and just everything business wise. I just feel like what I'm helping people step into is truly a business in a box, like 90% done for you. And so there may be some coaching right now. For the people that come in with me, I am coaching and mentoring and helping them. So there's really nothing else paid that I have, but I just know that like the fulfillment of, I mean, yes, it has been life changing for us and our family and the fun activities that we've done and the vacations and like the boat, like, yes, all that's awesome. But the biggest thing that makes me happy is like the other families that are experiencing true financial freedom. Like the fourth woman that bought this program from me, a single mom, she was facing eviction notices nearly every month. And I just saw her post this morning that in a little over, actually, it's not even 13 months, but in 12 months now, she has made $181,000 as a single mom
Wow.
with this program. And like that kind of stuff, just like, I'm like, yes, this is what I want to help others do and achieve. And whether it's 181,000 or even, your first 1,000, like it makes me so happy when people just start believing and knowing that they can do this, that they are made for more, that they're actually walking in the words and the promises of God. And I love being on the journey with them.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And where do you still feel there's back end inefficiencies or maybe some time leakage or something? What are some things that you feel like maybe you could improve on in in your business?
Ooh, okay. That's a great question. Probably for me is still content creation. And I kind of hate saying that, but I think it's maybe just I only post when I feel like it. And that's not exactly like what you should be doing
No
in a
judgment.
business.
I love it.
Yeah, like I am when
Yeah.
I'm inspired and when I feel like I have something to say, and yet I know that I need to be kind of more systematized there. So I
Mhm.
am a super emotional businesswoman, and I know that they're just if I stepped into, creating a system for this, like it would be easy. I'm just the person and the thing that's blocking that.
Yeah.
So
But I do
not
think,
wanting to be too salesy, I think is the
yeah,
issue. So it just I need to figure out how to do that in a way that's still in alignment and super authentic.
yeah, for sure. And I love that. I love that honesty, because that is part of business. It's like, how do I continually optimize? How do I continually grow and build, and I mean, even Elise and I, we constantly ask ourselves that too. Like, what can we do better in our business?
Yeah.
And you're never going to arrive somewhere, you are constantly growing and evolving. So my last question for you, if you could wave a magic wand and plug into a solution, or, into a workflow or something, what would it be? Like, if you could wave a magic wand and you could literally plug into any solution, what would it be?
I again, like I said before, I am a sucker for good marketing, but there was one kind of system that I did buy into, and they called it like the faucet or something like that. It wasn't a great term, but I loved what it represented, where it was just like this system that like you knew that if you wanted clients, like you just turned it on and it went through like the lead generation and, the follow up and all this kind of stuff equals sales and clients and blah, blah, blah. And then when you're going on vacation, you just turn it off. And so the concept of just making it easy, thinking, okay, I just, I don't know even what, switch on a lever or something like that, and just have this whole entire process in place. But it didn't, it somehow like I wasn't really in the equation. It just felt too cold. So it
Mhm.
would still need to involve me. It would still need to be authentic and in alignment and speak the way I do and all that kind of stuff. But like that is just super appealing to me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, sign me up. I'm like,
I
I'm
know,
right
I
there. That would be
know.
awesome. I love that answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
We're
actually
always
have that.
curious.
So for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Lise, you want to finish this up?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go into like, in your wildest dreams what AI can do, right? Because a lot of times people think of AI as just tools. That they're just going to use Chat GPT for this or, Perplexity for research or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
And here at M2 AI Agency, we love to take that so much further
Mhm.
because, there's like the chat bot kind of
Yeah.
AI, which is generative, but then there's agentic AI that actually does things for you.
Mm.
And so, Carrie, just like think about what could be possible here. I'm going to use you as an example because I think that so many people struggle with consistent content,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you kind of get into this mode of, it doesn't feel authentic if I don't do it in the moment, but if I do it in the moment, then I'm not consistent. Is
Yep.
that kind of how you
That's
feel?
it. That is it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's totally, I mean, that just comes from your beautiful heart, right? Because you're wanting to serve people, and especially because you bring God into it, like you want that to be spirit led.
Yeah.
And we totally get that because, that was how we are for sure. And so we have an AI agent that actually creates consistent content for you. But it's so much more than just like Chat GPT content. It's going to really learn your business, your voice, like who you are, and create content for you. But not only that, it's also going to compare with your competitors and see what's happening in the trends in your industry and create content that is actually hot right now. Because a lot of times with content, we throw it at the wall and see if it
Yeah.
sticks. And we want to have a strategy around it. So our AI agent, Maya the marketer, she is incredible at being able to understand the strategy of content creation and the heart, like that art and that science. And that heart comes from you and the things that are important to you. So it might be repurposing your old content or whatever it might be. And so wouldn't that be like, how would that change your world, Carrie, if it like had the heart and the art and the science behind it at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's what I've been missing. And yeah, I just think about that like makes me smile and feel like I can breathe easier if I were to have something like that.
Exactly. Because one thing that you said that I really want to just point out again, we are better editors than writers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the great thing about our AI is that every single AI agent that you work with not only gives you an AI agent, but there's a human touch behind it as well.
Mhm.
You are going to be able to approve everything that goes out before it goes out and adjust it. Right. So it gives you that start. You don't have to start at that blank screen, and it's much more in depth and knows you a whole lot better than ChatGPT and actually learns over time. So yeah, I can't wait to see like what is possible for you with AI in the future, because we're gonna start moving you away from like just the individual tools, which are amazing and mind-blowing at first. We're gonna take you on your next journey and your next level of your journey with AI and automations and systems. Sound good?
Wow. Yeah. Awesome. That
Awesome.
sounds great.
Good, good. All right. Well, Carrie, you have been absolutely incredible. So, if people want to know, especially about like your additional stream of income and all of the things that you're up to, how can they best find you?
Yeah, so I am most typically on Facebook at Kari Olson is my personal page. I do have, a freebie, the 2-hour blueprint, and you can find that at amen-to-dailypay.com.
amen-to-dailypay.com, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That is so perfect. And we will put all of that in the show notes as well. But thank you so much for being here. I mean, your heart is just, we can just feel it just through the video camera here. And we know that you are called to serve so many people. And it's wonderful that you're really stepping into automations, AI systems to be able to do it. So thanks for sharing your journey with us today.
Thank you for having me. Super fun to be here with you both.
Of
It's been
course,
awesome. And
absolutely.
check her out. She's amazing. She's amazing. You are going to definitely
She
want to
is
work with her for
amazing.
sure.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for watching, guys, and we will see you on another episode of the Mastering AI Momentum Show.
You've been listening to Mastering AI Momentum. If today's episode gave you clarity or sparked a breakthrough, share it, review it, leave us a comment, and show Ali and Elise how you're turning AI into ROI. And make sure you subscribe, because the next episode could be the strategy that unlocks your next level. Until then, build smart, scale fast, and let AI multiply your momentum.